And today we are calling all NASCAR fans. You out there, you listening? You might recognize the name Jim Pace. He's an accomplished race car driver and a native of Mississippi, and he is set to be honored at the upcoming Chattanooga Motorcar Festival. Pretty cool. And joining us today on Good Things to share a little bit more about his life and legacy is Mr. Ken. Hey, Mr. Ken.
Hi there. It's Ken Gross, Gross, and I'm happy to talk about Jim. He was a fabulous guy.
Well, we would love to know a little bit more about Jim, Ken. I mean, not all of us are up on our NASCAR history or trivia, but I think we can all appreciate any Mississippian that makes that kind of splash in a specific area like car racing or NASCAR. So give us a little background on his accomplished.
Jim really wasn't a NASCAR driver. He was a sports car driver. He started in 1988 in the Barber Pro Series. He won the GTU class at Daytona in 1990, and 6 years later he hit the big time. He won Daytona and he won Sebring, and he also won at the Texas Motor Speedway. He drove at Le Mans in France and only finished 33rd, but any time you drive that 24-hour race, you're doing something specially. And most recently he was active in vintage and historic sports car racing. Last year at Wisconsin Road America, he flipped a UOP Shadow Can-Am car in a spectacular crash and walked away unhurt. He was a driver, but most importantly, he was a fabulous instructor, a guy who never lost his cool. You could sit next to him. You could either drive or he would drive, and you would learn so much from this guy. He was just fabulous.
Pretty cool. So how did a native of Monticello, Mississippi, Ken, end up being selected for recognition there in Chattanooga?
Well, sadly, he had to pass away of the COVID-19. But Jim was the chairman festival. He was in charge of the Chattanooga Motorcar Festival, and especially the racing side, which he was totally an expert. Sadly, he was one of the first people that we knew who passed away from COVID, and it's taken three people to replace Jim. He was that good, and they've decided to permanently name the racetrack, which runs literally through the streets of Chattanooga, after Jim, the Pace Grand Prix.
That's pretty cool. Not that his passing of COVID, but just the fact that he's leaving that legacy behind, and all of his hard work and his passion for the sport will continue to live on for all of us to come and visit and see and sort of experience for the first time. If maybe we didn't recognize that he was such a fixture in, motorsports in Mississippi and beyond. So what will be going on at the festival, Ken?
Well, it's a multifaceted event. In addition to the Pace Grand Prix at the Bend on this new track that runs right through the city, we'll have the West Village Road Rally for 2 days. That's on the 15th and 16th of October. On the 17th, Sunday, we have a Concourse Director with 168 show cars. At the same time, going on will be a Mecum auction. Mecum hopes to have 600 to 700 cars at the local convention center in Chattanooga, sponsored by Coker Tire and Legendary Tires. We're going to have a charity cruise-in on Saturday morning, the 16th. There'll be an automobilia sale. I think there's an antique boat show, and I could go on for hours. But there's a lot for people to do here in the 15th, 16th, 17th of October.
And if we're not making it up there this particular month, will there be a way to sort of see how Jim is being honored with the racetrack and all anytime we make our way up to Chattanooga?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about something permanent, although I believe they're planning it. In the meantime, if you're for that weekend, you can go on the website, which is www.chattanoogamotorcar.com, and I believe they're filming everything, so I think you can tap in and watch the memorial service for Jim, watch the racing, watch the concours. You can do it all live as it's happening.
Well, Ken, I appreciate your time here on Good Things today, reminding us of the legacy there of Jim Pace. He's an accomplished race car driver, native to Mississippi. Maybe we've learned something new. We'll get interested in who he was and, his sport of choice and get connected with the festival.
May I just say one thing, and that's that all the profits from the festival go to neuroscience Center at CHI Memorial. They do research on ALS, on Parkinson's, on stroke. This is a world-renowned clinic, and every penny of this event goes to support it. I think that's something Jim would be very proud of.
And that's definitely an added good thing. So wishing you good weather, lots huge turnout, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Pretty neat. Learn about something new every day. I'll have to admit, you can probably tell, wasn't very keen on Mr. Jim Pace and his career there in motorsports. And, you learn something new every day. And it's neat to see native Mississippians who leave such a lasting impact on, different, not just all sports. I mean, just in different sort of industries of choice, I would have to say it that way. And I think that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, it's really cool the fact that we have a Mississippian who raced in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, because that's the Super Bowl of racing. Like, you have the Daytona 500 or the Indy 500, or you have different Grand Prix that people look forward to every year in and year out. But the 24 Hours of Le Mans is a totally different animal, because it's a race. You're racing against all these other people in your class, but it's also endurance, because it's 24 hours, just nonstop.
I couldn't imagine. I mean, just think about that's like traveling from usually central Mississippi to Disney and back without sort of stopping. Now, I know you don't necessarily have the same mindset, but I mean, it's kind of the same, time, about 12 hours one way, 12 hours one back. I think, too, what's interesting to remember about his story, and that's Jim Pace, is the fact that there's not just one set of racing. I mean, I think we think of drag racing or, speed racing or whatever, and then you think of NASCAR. And he reminded me, at least, that particular sport or industry has a wide variety different of forms of racing within, the motor car. So, yeah, learning something new, and it sounds like they are going to carry on his legacy for a while, and you should tap into it. And I'll be sure that when it gets up, particularly if it has any videos, that we share any of that over on the Good Things Facebook group if you would be interested in sort of seeing that or connecting with it.